Am I the a-hole for changing my son's school so he wouldn't have to shoulder the weight of helping his stepbrother? X, 40 male, and I, 31 female, have a son who is 11. X cheated on me with his current wife 3 years ago. X's wife has a son, Daniel, who is the same age as my son. The first 2 years were rough. Daniel's home was ripped apart too and lashed out at my son because of it. He bullied him for a solid 2 years, made his life a living hell to the point the school called us all in at various times, and there was tension between all of us because I requested my son to be more protected. And I told my ex he needed to do a better job of protecting our son and not let him suffer because he decided to cheat with a married woman. My ex took me to court then because I requested at one of these meetings that my son and Daniel be separated in school. And my ex wanted to sever my education decision abilities because he said I was using the cheating to get what I wanted and to create more distance between the new brothers. The judge did not like hearing what I said, but it was my ex's actions he didn't like. From defending having them in the same class despite the bullying being to the level it was, to saying I shouldn't get to say in the decision, to admitting he left his wife to attend meetings on his behalf at times, and then digging his heels in with the judge. So, the judge gave me full educational decision-making, where I only need to notify X of any change. After the whole bullying ordeal was over, they decided my son needed to help Daniel with schoolwork because Daniel was struggling in school. This included in and out of school and taking up lunchtime if Daniel needed it. My son hated it. His relationship with Daniel has not gotten better because of the bullying. And back in May, he told me he wanted to change schools. I weighed the options, and after talking to my ex about the pressure put on our son despite everything that had happened, and him saying they were brothers and our son would grow to appreciate being forced eventually, I decided to respect what my son wanted, and I moved him from that school to another one in the district, which was possible because of my address and slight changes in zoning in the last 2 years. X expressed unhappiness with it, but that was it when I told him. And then our son didn't need to help Daniel as much. Until after Christmas when both boys were doing school virtually and they asked our son to help Daniel. So one time in an exchange with his dad about it, our son said he thought moving schools would stop him being forced to help Daniel. My ex went nuts and raged at me for moving him to stop helping Daniel when Daniel is an innocent kid who doesn't deserve that. I told him our son was innocent too and shouldn't have the pressure of 2 loads of work/homework on him, and they need to get Daniel an actual tutor since he's struggling so bad. He called me an a-hole and said it was spite for his cheating and punishing a child. I see it as more doing what's best for my child, which is my priority. Do you think X is right? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. I think you need to consider filing for full custody. Your ex is being abusive to your son. This needs to happen right away. Your ex doesn't care about your son. Right. He cares more about keeping his new wife happy. Do it, Opie. Protect your child. Not the a-hole. In no world is an 11-year-old going to be forced to help his abuser. Exactly. This will eventually cause a lot of mental stress to the kid, and I can't imagine how bad it would be for him. Opie is right to protect her child. Not the a-hole. I would go back to court for full custody. The fact that your ex placed the burden of academic assistance on an 11-year-old rather than help his son himself speaks volumes. I am a certified teacher with a master's and over a decade of experience. Move your son to a different school. In all honesty, I would temporarily refuse to allow my son to be forced to be near that child. Mental health is incredibly fragile at your son's age. Your child cannot continue to bear a burden that he shouldn't have been saddled with in the first place. Furthermore, your son will begin to experience detrimental effects of bullying, neglect from his father, academic pressures, etc. Unacceptable when it could all be avoided. Best of luck to you and your family. You are a good mom. And from what I understand, a large part of Dad's reasoning is that by having his son help his stepson, a closer relationship would form. Dad needs to get hell over this need for a close sibling connection between the 2 boys. Especially if Dad won't do a damn thing to curb the bullying from the stepson. Dad seems hung up on the idea that everything Opie does to protect her son is somehow her way of getting revenge because he cheated. From an outsider's perspective, it looks like he's trying to use his 11-year-old son as a mechanism to make everything all shiny and rosy and happy, and creating this great blended family. I'm sorry, but it was Dad's poor choices, in part, that led everyone to this place, and it's not a child's responsibility to fix it. Not the a-hole. Now for the next story. I'm at a hall for spraying my arm with no chew dog spray so my stepsister wouldn't lick it anymore. So, I have a step-sibling that is on the spectrum. One of the big issues she has is that she licks everything and everyone. It's some sort of sensory thing. She has a special therapist that's supposed to help with this problem. They've told my dad and stepmom to get her interested in licking other things. For example, she has these special bracelets and necklaces she wears for licking. My dad and stepmom say they've helped a lot with the issue, but every single time I have to come to visit, she gets too close to me and licks me. It's gross and makes me uncomfortable. My dad and stepmom know it makes me uncomfortable and will pull her away when she does this, but she will inevitably lick me again multiple times while I'm there. On a side note, we got a new puppy at my mom's house. He has been having trouble with chewing furniture. We got this special no-chew spray that we sprayed on the legs of the furniture. Our puppy pretty much stopped chewing the furniture immediately. So the next time I had to go to my dad's, I decided to try spraying my arms and neck with the no-chew spray before I left. Within 20 minutes of being at my dad's place, my stepsister licks me. This time though, she pulls away fast, makes this face, and starts freaking out. Anyway, my dad and stepmom got mad at me about it. They said what I did was mean and demeaning. But their stuff wasn't working at all. It didn't make any difference when I was there. The spray did work though, because she didn't try to lick me or get too much into my personal space again till days later. After she tried to lick me again, my dad said I better not use the spray again. I said if they got her to stop licking me, the spray wouldn't bother her. Then he said he would take me straight back home if it happened again. I said that I just wouldn't come back over there anymore. I didn't talk to him or anyone else for the rest of the trip. Since I've gotten home, he's called me a few times and I have ignored all the calls. I've listened to a few voicemails he's left though. They're basically all saying the same thing, that this isn't how I'm supposed to treat family, and I need to make exceptions and be understanding of my stepsister. Not day hall. You're allowed to not be licked. It would seem your stepsister is more capable of correcting her own behavior than her parents are expecting of her if your no-chew spray method worked for a few days. Their behavior needs correcting too, and removing yourself from a situation that makes you uncomfortable seems to make a lot of sense here. Keeping one family member comfortable at the expense of another isn't what families are supposed to do either. Was going to say this. Sounds like it isn't an uncontrollable behavior, since the taste deterrent of the spray immediately worked better than everything they and the therapist have done. Not day hall. This is actually a pretty clever solution. They said what I did was mean and demeaning. You know what else is demeaning? Having people freaking lick you like a dog and to be expected to just tolerate it. Especially during a respiratory viral pandemic. Not day hall. Other people's rights end at your body. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not inviting my stepbrother to my wedding? I'm male 38, marrying my love female 33 in a couple of months, and my mother is really upset with me for not inviting my stepbrother. Me and him have never got along. He used to bully me when him and his mother moved in when I was 11. He was always physically bigger and used to try and dominate me and my brother. His mother, my mother's wife, thought the son shone out his butt and wouldn't accept the fact he was bullying me. She also convinced my mother that he wasn't a bully. In more recent times, I don't have anything to do with the bloke at all. I don't consider him as family. The last time I saw him around 4 years ago, I said a hello to him. I try to be polite at least to people, and he wouldn't even say hi back. My mother seems to have this image in her head of this perfect union of my family and her wife's family, but I don't feel the same way. It doesn't bother me that she married her wife, but my view is that they're her family, not mine. Sure, if they were nice people, it might be different, but they aren't. I also don't get along with Mom's wife, but I'd be civil to her to keep the peace with Mom. Am I the a-hole here? Since it's my wedding, surely I'm allowed to not invite whomever I want. Thanks for your time. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. It is about you and your wife to be, nobody else. If you don't want him there, don't invite him. Your mom needs a bit of a reality check. Best of luck. Not the a-hole. Mom, I haven't said 3 words to him in the last 4 years. And when I did say hi, he couldn't be bothered to respond. No, your stepson is not taking up space at my wedding that could be used by someone who actually gives a damn about me. But he is family. No, Mom. He's your family, not mine. We're just two strangers who are very happy without being involved in each other's life. Now, stop trying to dictate what I should be doing in my day, with my money. Good night. Not the a-hole. Your wedding, your decision. You don't want to spend your wedding with someone who tormented you growing up and hasn't grown out of it. You don't need that negativity at your wedding. Thanks for your input. Yeah, I don't need that negativity, but still feel a bit bad because Mom's putting the pressure on. Have you had a conversation with your mother about what happened when you were little? Not the a-hole. Yeah, we've talked about it a long time ago. Should we have forgotten? She's getting pretty old and health not that great at times. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for charging my siblings $5 each for food? I'm a 20-year-old male and live alone. I work 2 jobs, so I'm constantly busy and have little time even for myself. Last week, my siblings, my little brother and sister, asked if they could spend a weekend with me after I mentioned finally having a free weekend from one of my jobs. I was hesitant since I kinda wanted to enjoy time alone, but I love my siblings more than anything, so I said sure. I felt that my parents would also like a break, so I didn't mind. On that Friday, I worked the afternoon at my second job, so when I picked them up that morning, I brought them a few snacks and told them to fix something at my house if they got hungry. When I got off, my sister, who is 15, asked if I can get her and my 8-year-old brother some Taco Bell. I had the money to eat out, so I said sure and picked some up on the way home for them. The next day, I was off from both jobs, so I was planning on doing very little. We did go out shopping to a few shops nearby. Before we went home, I brought them more snacks and told them I was going to get pizza for dinner. However, they complained that they didn't like that kind of pizza. I then asked what would they like. They wanted pizza, but pizza that costed way more than I was going to be paying for the other. I told them no, and that the cheap pizza wouldn't kill them. Plus it was free for them, not for me. They complained a little more, till I told them that I will get the more expensive pizza if they both chipped in $5 towards it. My little brother was okay with that, and my sister hesitated, but eventually said okay. I took the money and brought the pizza. The rest of the day was good. The next day, while I worked my second job, my stepdad came to pick them up to take them home. A few days ago, I went to return a bag my sister left back to them, and upon entering the house, my stepdad asked to talk to me. We stepped into a room where he laid into me about being a terrible brother for charging my siblings for dinner. I tried to explain that they wanted a pizza that was triple the one I was originally going to get them for free, and that I paid for dinner and snacks multiple times for free, but he kept cutting me off. He then told me to get the hell out of his house. I told him have a good day sarcastically and left. Later, when with my best friend, my mother texted and called me names for how I was disrespectful and a bad person for what I did. I told her I didn't think I did anything wrong, and to just leave me alone if they are mad over $10 damn. She told me that since I'm acting grown, to never contact them again. I told her that since I'm 20, that I would be okay with leaving them alone. My friend told me I was in the right and did nothing wrong, but I just want to be reassured that I wasn't the a-hole. I love my siblings, and I hate that my parents are mad over something that they don't want to understand. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your siblings are rude for complaining about something they demanded, and your parents are way over the line for going off on you without even bothering to sit down and ask what happened. But based on your parents' incredibly disproportionate response, at least now you know why your siblings feel so entitled to get whatever they demand. If his parents are willing to never see him again because of $10, good riddance. So my question is, Opie is doing his parents a favor giving them a free weekend. Why wouldn't they give him money to help feed their kids? Anytime my kids go somewhere without me, they're given cash for any unexpected costs. As a mom and grandma, honey, you did the right damn thing. Not the a-hole. You showed your small persons that they have the absolute right as kids to expect those caring for them to provide them food and shelter within the bounds of the available budget and within reason. You also showed them that if they demand extra, they should be prepared to pay up. This is not a lesson that can be learned too early. A 6-year-old saying, I want to go to the movies instead watching at home, is definitely old enough to be told, sure, tickets are $10 each. Here's a list of extra chores and what I'll pay to have them gone. Go get 'em, Tiger. We want kids to know they have a good bit of autonomy over their choices, But we also definitely want them to know they cannot force others to sacrifice themselves or their ultimate well-being to give fancy extra things to them. Rent comes before Roblox. A non-payment alternative in the future is to lay out the budget, as you did, and let them spend an hour if needed going over the entire menu looking for something you can afford. You already know, let them figure it out. And then let them help you order it so they feel involved and grown up. That's way more fun than sun-dried marshmallows and bespoke pepperoni and pizza anyhow. As I stated in a reply, my parents are in no way on a budget. They buy things for the heck of it, and just brought an expensive car, even though they already have one for each of them. So now they have 3 cars for 2 people. And this is also the only time I have ever charged my siblings. Every time I've had them, I've cooked with my own groceries or buy fast food with my own money. A few months ago, I was living paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by with rent alone. When I had them over, I still brought them things and everything with money meant to keep me going. I'm financially stable now, but I don't see a problem with me asking them to pay $10 of a $35 meal, even